Right now, we're monitoring thunderstorms and risks for flash flooding in Sauk County. We'll have an update in your first alert forecast. And we're looking at what could happen next with the state budget after the governor signed it with dozens of vetoes.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thank you for joining us. We start with flash flooding concerns tonight. This video was sent to us by a viewer in Sauk County showing heavy rain and streets flooding near Highway 33 in Reedsburg. Sauk County dispatchers have reports of water over the roads in multiple places tonight. Let's check your first alert forecast now with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canaldi.
Well, Charlotte, we're watching that strong thunderstorm cell mainly over the northern half of Sauk County. It has not only produced very heavy rain, but also some strong straight line winds. The severe thunderstorm warning is going to be allowed to expire by the National Weather Service for the northern portion of Sauk County. And there goes that warning that was in effect until 6 p.m. However, as we take a look at the flood potential, that is going to be a more significant concern. This is just over the last few hours. There is a flash flood warning that's currently in effect for northwestern Sauk County until 9:15 p.m. If you take a look at the radar rainfall estimates right around the Reedsburg area, it could be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of about 3.6 to almost 4 inches of rain just over the last 3 hours, and that goes very well with some of the reports that we've been receiving out of that area. These thunderstorms have blossomed up over northern and central Sauk County and have moved very little over the last couple of hours. You can see much of the rest of southern Wisconsin right now is precipitation free, but it's possible more thunderstorms could pop up at any point. Future radar over the next 3 hours continues to show thunderstorms at least for the next couple of hours over Sauk County. Eventually those will be moving away, but there could be additional development in parts of southern Wisconsin. We'll keep a very close eye on the situation for more thunderstorm development, but for right now, that's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Republican leaders at the state capitol say they are disappointed in a number of the partial vetoes Democratic Governor Tony Evers made to the state's budget today. So what's next for the spending plan? That's what Rose Schmidt will tell us. She is live at the state capitol. Good evening, Rose.
Hi, Charlotte. Yes, Governor Evers took a moderate approach today in deciding to reshape the state's budget. But Republicans say it's still too premature to say whether they'll try to override any of his partial vetoes.
Today, I am signing a much better version of the legislature's budget with the understanding that we are nowhere near where we should be, and there's lots more work that we need to do.
With the stroke of a pen, Governor Tony Evers signed Wisconsin's 2-year spending plan, but it's one he didn't write, and he says it falls short.
Unfortunately, the budget I'm signing here today is, in many ways, insufficient.
In future budget bills or separate legislation, the governor says he'll fight to expand Medicaid and implement nonpartisan redistricting reform, two of a number of policy items that Republican leaders removed from the budget.
I'm pleased that he signed it, and I would say because for the most part our budget was kept intact, I think it's a good thing for Wisconsin.
Evers says he heavily weighed throwing out the budget completely.
Vetoing this budget in its entirety would have been more of the same divisiveness and the petty political theatrics that the people of Wisconsin have had to put up with for far too long.
Before signing the document, he made 78 changes in the form of partial vetoes. One of the biggest was increasing spending for K-12 education by $65 million more than the Republican-controlled state legislature approved.
Yeah, but I'm fully aware that's within the governor's purview, and if there's enough people upset by that, then obviously you could consider a veto override.
Republican Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald says the decision on whether lawmakers will try to override any vetoes would originate in the state assembly. Speaker Robin Vos had issues with one in particular that effectively blocked new drug tests and work requirements for people on the state's food stamp program, saying Evers is intent on trapping people on welfare.
Yeah, I think that's a disappointment, something that obviously Republicans feel strong about, and the governor did veto that item.
Republicans don't have the support to override any of Evers' partial vetoes without support from some Democrats.
Rose, thank you. New at 6, the town of Spring Green has temporarily tabled its decision on a dog breeding site that would sell beagles to companies for medical research. In an email to News 3 Now, the grassroots organization Dane for Dogs says last night's town meeting was standing room only, with residents speaking out against the puppy mill. They addressed both environmental and ethical concerns. The town board will hold a special meeting next week, Thursday, to revisit a conditional use permit for the puppy mill. A record number of people are planning trips for the 4th of July this year. More than 41 million of them are expected to travel by car. In Wisconsin specifically, travel is up 4.5% this year. Lower gas prices are contributing to the record travel numbers. The national average is $2.61, which is 23 cents lower than last Independence Day. According to GasBuddy.com, you can find prices as low as $2.49 in Madison. Today is expected to be the worst day on Wisconsin roads. Madison police said they pulled over nearly 40 people for speeding this morning. This happened in a traffic enforcement area on the westbound Beltline near Whitney Way. Police said 38 of those drivers were going more than 15 to 28 miles per hour over the speed limit. The man injured in a shed fire near Perry Lutheran Church has died. Todd Dyrison passed away on Friday due to the injuries he sustained in the fire. That's according to Jenny Minter, Deputy Chief of the Mount Horeb Area Joint Fire Department. The fire happened 5 days before he passed away. The Dane County Sheriff's Office had previously told News 3 Now Dyrison lived near the church and cemetery and was burned when he went to check on the fire. The Waterloo Fire Department says a dozen cattle are dead after an early morning barn fire. This happened at the J&R Bar Ranch on State Highway 89 north of Waterloo. Departments from 4 different counties responded, and they were able to put the fire out within an hour.
They lost approximately 13 head of cattle that were in the basement of the barn that were not able to get out. The homeowners were moving the horses from another barn that's close to the one that burnt. They were moving them to a barn that was further away.
The barn is considered a total loss. Officials say the barn owners had a lot of hay in the upper half of the barn. Some of it had just been put in recently. The cause of the fire is under investigation. New at 6, Governor Evers has ordered flags to fly at half-staff in honor of the employee killed at Volk Field this week. Nicholas Jans was killed on Monday after touching a live electrical source when he was changing light bulbs on the runway. The order for flags to be lowered will be in effect starting at sunrise and end once he is laid to rest. Neighbors on Beloit's west side say they are frustrated with the decision to place yet another sexual offender in their area. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter spoke with a family off of Portland Avenue, and he joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with why this particular placement is upsetting them. Adam?
Well, Charlotte, the Department of Corrections says Michael Quaid was moved into a transitional housing unit in the city of Beloit last week when he was released from prison. But neighbors I talked to today say they weren't notified until they saw a Facebook post from Beloit police just last night. Now, Quaid has been convicted twice in the past of second-degree sexual of a teenager, once in 1998 and once in 2008. Just years ago for tampering with a GPS device after being released once before. One neighbor I talked to today says she's tired of seeing this happen in her community.
Have a house by you and you deal with it, you know? You put them amongst us. Have them next door to you or across the street and see how you feel about it.
The DOC says this housing is just temporary and they expect to have him out within 30 days. In addition to this, they say he will be checked on at least 3 times a day at random. But still, the city of Beloit police say if you see anything suspicious, you're encouraged to call their non-emergency number.
Adam, thank you. 4 Democratic presidential candidates are planning to attend a town hall in Milwaukee next week. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, former U.S. Housing Secretary Julian Castro, and former Texas Representative Beto O'Rourke are all slated to appear. The 2-hour event next Thursday is organized by the League of United Latin American Citizens. Wisconsin is seen as a key swing state. President Trump narrowly carried Wisconsin in 2016, breaking a string of Democratic wins dating to 1988. Next at 6, we're spotlighting a special member of the Mallards team. We'll introduce you to Colt and explain why his job is so unique. And there's more local news ahead. Local strawberry farmers say the cold winter and wet spring actually help their growing season. We'll explain tonight at 10. But a little visitor at UW Hospital is making a big difference. This is Gracie, named after the Hillary Grace Healing Garden, where staff and patients noticed the duck was spending a lot of time. Well, this is right outside a unit that often houses patients with a long road to recovery. Having Gracie has lifted the spirits of both patients and staff, encouraging them to get outside and move. Gracie was originally named Kevin, but once everyone learned the duck was expecting baby ducklings, she became even more of a local celebrity at the hospital.
When you see such sick people, just those simple things really bring back why you do this, to get people back out there and enjoying what the world has to offer. And sometimes it's as small as a duck and her babies, but it turns into a big thing.
Gracie's first ducklings hatched this week, with more to come. UW is working closely with the DNR to make sure all their ducks are in a row, pun intended, and that Gracie and her babies are safe and well taken care of. An update to a story we brought to you yesterday. A Sun Prairie woman is getting in touch with the person who helped get her dog back. A community service officer confirmed in an email to News 3 Now that Chelsea Pullman has been in contact with the person who called police after hitting her dog Nadia. Officer Dennis Johnson said the two planned to meet. Pullman said she got the dog after she and her husband had a miscarriage. Earlier, she put a call out on Facebook saying she wanted to say thank you to the caller because they allowed her to bury the dog and get some closure. He's one of only a handful of his kind in the country, the Madison Mallard's bat dog. It's Colt's sophomore season at the Duck Pond, the home field for Madison's Northwoods League collegiate team. And this year, the 4-year-old brought an apprentice, his younger brother, Kovu. Colt's handler and best friend, Kate Busey, says the 45-pound border collie is a highly driven working dog who loves the praise and attention he gets from fans.
I mean, Colt loves doing what he loves, getting the bat. He loves being part of the team. My favorite part is when people see him for the first time, that oh my gosh factor. And he loves it too. The more people cheer, the faster he goes to get the bat and the faster he comes back in.
There are many more chances to catch Colt and Kovu at the Duck Pond this season. Learn more about how Colt became a bat dog and which games he'll be working in the article on channel3000.com. Next on News 3 Now at 6, people in Green Bay will be celebrating America's birthday from high in the sky. We'll take a look at the state's largest Ferris wheel opening tomorrow. And we have a very warm 4th of July day ahead. Gary Canalti shares when we might have to dodge some showers. That's next in your First Alert forecast. Wisconsin's biggest Ferris wheel is ready to go for the 4th of July festivities in Green Bay. The new ride officially opens at Bay Beach Amusement Park tomorrow, but a handful of riders already had a chance to try it out after making a donation to park renovations. The Ferris wheel is 100 feet tall and has been in the works for more than a decade. Aside from its size, the ride is unique because it's accessible to people of all abilities. Water levels across the Great Lakes are expected to break records this summer. That is according to a report by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The Sheboygan Riverfront is known for views of Lake Michigan, and business owners there say they've already had flooding issues. They've put out sandbags to help, but since the boardwalk is flooding, they're having trouble attracting shoppers. To Weather Now, Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is here monitoring some flash flooding concerns.
Yeah, northern and central portions of Sauk County have been receiving torrential amounts of rain from a thunderstorm that literally blew up there and just is kind of sitting over the same spot. And you can see this very impressively on visible cloud track. This is high-resolution satellite data that clearly shows what we call the overshooting tops of these thunderstorms, where they kind of bubble up into the stratosphere, an indication that these storms are getting to tremendous amounts of height and producing heavy amounts of rain. And then when that rain falls down to the ground, a lot of times it can cause some strong straight line winds. There was a severe thunderstorm warning earlier for Sauk County. That has been allowed to expire, but we're still seeing very heavy thunderstorms, mainly through the central and northern portions of Sauk County. The storm in the Reedsburg area now drifting toward the east toward Baraboo, but they extend back to just south of Loganville along Highway 136. These storms are drifting very slowly to the east and northeast. There is a flash flood warning in effect until 9:15 for much of central and northern portions of Sauk County. In fact, radar estimates right around Reedsburg, about 3.6 inches of rain there, anywhere from about 1 to 4, almost 4 inches of rain possible from just west and southwest of Loganville up to Reedsburg. But now all that heavy rain shifting eastward toward Baraboo. So be aware, if you're in the Baraboo area, for some potential for some very heavy downpours as these storms start to drift off to the east. But for the last couple of hours, they've really sat over the north central portion of Sauk County. Now, You can see much of the rest of southern Wisconsin is rain-free, other than some thunderstorms heading up into areas up toward Toma. But you can see some more thunderstorms down across parts of eastern Iowa. They've been weakening as they push toward southwestern Wisconsin. A couple of storms starting to develop just south of Dodgeville. So just be aware there's the possibility for a shower or thunderstorm to pop up very quickly in this very warm and humid atmosphere. The more concentrated area of thunderstorms will stay to our south and to our west, but future radar over the next couple of hours shows the potential for these storms to grow across parts of southern Wisconsin. This is through about a little after 9 p.m. So again, some heavy downpours, maybe an outside chance of some gusty winds and the stronger thunderstorms. The severe weather threat highest to our south and west, according to the Storm Prediction Center. That shifts back to the northwest for tomorrow, the 4th of July, even though we'll see some thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. And there's a marginal risk over southwestern Wisconsin as the cold front starts to push southward on Friday. Rainfall amounts, some areas 1 to 2 inches. Of course, the area around Sauk County just in the last couple of hours has picked up about 3 to 4 inches of rain. And additional rainfalls generally around a ½ inch, but there could be some localized amounts of 3 or 4 inches, just like the computer models are showing. It's hard to pick exactly which area is going to get them, though. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam of Platteville showing the towering clouds there. The WISC Skycam also looking more cloudy now. The high temperature in Madison today made it up to 85 degrees, the low temperature at 68. Forecast for tonight, shower and thunderstorm chances this evening. Not everybody will see them, though. Low at 69 degrees, and then some fog late tomorrow, the 4th of July. Very similar to today, high of 85, very warm and humid. Thunderstorm chances mainly in the afternoon and evening. On future track, the thunderstorm chances this evening will end overnight. We'll see some areas of fog as temperatures stay almost to 70 degrees. Tomorrow, highs get back in the mid-80s. Thunderstorms blossom up in the afternoon, but plenty of breaks in between them. They die down tomorrow night, and then we repeat the process again as we head into Friday. Rainfall amounts, again, about a ½ inch to an inch in some areas, but locally over 2 inches and heavier thunderstorms. Good news is once the heat and humidity move out for Friday, we'll see a break for the weekend with high temperatures, upper 70s to around 80. Some thunderstorm chances in the middle of next week, but nice weather at the end of the week.
Jesse Vetter in the UW Athletic Hall of Fame. Boy, talk about a no-brainer. The story's coming up in sports. It'll be the United States and the Netherlands in the Women's World Cup final Sunday in France. It took overtime, but the Dutch knocked out Sweden in the semifinal today. The game winner comes in the 99th minute in overtime. If you had Jackie Croonen in your World Cup pool, you're a winner. Netherlands were the European champions in 2017. Now they have a chance to win the country's first Women's World Cup. Sunday's Women's World Cup final will have the United States looking for its second straight championship going against the Dutch. The kickoff will be just after 10 o'clock Madison time Sunday morning in Lyon, France. We're keeping an eye on a couple of injuries for the U.S. right now. The outlook is optimistic for former Badger Rose Lavelle, who injured her hamstring in the 64th minute of the semifinal win against England yesterday. Lavelle was walking with a limp and taken out of the game, but she's had a history of hamstring issues. She still says she's going to play Sunday. As does Megan Rapinoe, who sat out the entire semifinal win against England yesterday. Rapinoe's been bothered by what's described as a minor hamstring strain. But after a good chance to rest, she says she'll be ready for Sunday's final.
Just a minor hamstring strain, so obviously we have a lot of days now, and for me, the timeline really was after the France game, and now I have, the extra rest day and looking forward to the final, so I expect to be fit by then.
Hernan Perez cleared waivers, and since he doesn't have enough service time in the majors, he has to accept his assignment to AAA and will stay with the Brewers organization for now. The Brewers are playing Cincinnati again tonight. They are in the race for the Central Division title this season, so they should be buyers, not sellers, at the trade deadline. New this year, the trade deadline is July 31st, and no trades will be allowed after that. Brewers general manager David Stern says that'll change things.
It probably puts a little bit more urgency on that July 31st deadline. We've been fortunate. We've been able to make some trades in August over the last couple of years that have helped the team. Last year we made 3 trades in the last day of August that we thought helped the team and helped supplement our group. Those opportunities won't be available this year. So we're going to have to make sure that to the extent possible we address our needs during the month of July. Over the next month we may have a couple of opportunities to supplement the team, but it's going to start with the players we currently have performing at a high level. I think they can.
The latest inductee into the UW Athletic Hall of Fame is another no-brainer. Jessie Vedder is now Jessie Vedder McConnell. She's one of the most popular and decorated women's hockey players in Badger history. In her 4 years at Wisconsin, 2006 to 2009, her Badgers played in 4 national championship games, and they won 3 of them. She was also on 2 U.S. Olympic hockey teams, and she won 3 state soccer championships at Monona Grove High School. She married Scott McConnell in 2016, and get this, Scott McConnell's mom, Sandy, is Mark Johnson's older sister.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, Jessie Vedder McConnell, the latest inductee into the UW Athletic Hall of Fame.
Well, congratulations.
How about that?
All right, and Gary's here with the latest on our forecast.
We have a new warning, a severe thunderstorm warning now in effect until 7 p.m. for the eastern portion of Richland County, basically from Richland Center eastward, for the possibility for large hail and winds to 60 miles per hour. In addition, flash flood warning continues until 9:15 for northwestern and parts of central Sauk County, where perhaps up to 4 to 5 inches of rain has fallen. You can see those storms bubbling up there, but other storms will move into parts of southern Wisconsin over the next few hours. Keep an eye on them.
All right, thank you very much. Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.
Did those get here, Gary?